Imagine an 86-year-old man just sitting on a river bench
Okay.
in this tiny town. No cell phones anywhere, no explosive drama, no shocking plot twists at all,
Sounds pretty quiet.
right? It is. But now imagine that exact story just rocketing to the #1 spot on the New York Times bestseller list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, selling over 1 million copies. So welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking at Theo of Golden by Alan Levy.
Which is really fascinating because it was self-published.
Exactly. Self-published by a first-time author in his late 60s.
Hmm?
And he somehow just completely defied the entire publishing industry.
Right.
So our mission today is to figure out, what fueled this massive word-of-mouth smash hit. We want to see how everyday readers and professional critics are reacting to it.
And really figure out why a quiet book about an 86-year-old guy is capturing the cultural zeitgeist right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the reaction from readers is just, it's visceral.
It really is. Like, if you look at Audible, listeners aren't just leaving high ratings, though it does have a 4.9 from over 16,000 listeners.
Over 16,000. That's wild.
Yeah. And they're calling it the perfect antidote to modern society. People are literally vowing to reread it every single year.
That's a huge commitment.
And what's crazy is that the way they found it wasn't through some, flashy ad campaign.
Right. It was pure word of mouth. Just readers physically pressing copies into their friends' hands.
Until traditional publishers finally caught wind of it, Atria Books picked it up, and then it got selected for both Katie Couric and Jen Hatmaker's book clubs.
Hoda Kotb even called it a treasure. It kind of reminds me of finding some hidden indie record at a garage sale
Yeah.
and then watching it suddenly win Album of the Year.
That is a perfect comparison.
But I have to ask, given that the story lacks technology entirely, like nobody even uses cell phones in this town, is its popularity driven purely by our collective tech burnout?
Well, maybe. And that makes it really jarring when you read what professional literary critics are actually saying about it.
Because they're not as obsessed.
Not exactly. They're looking at the exact same book and pointing out some pretty serious structural flaws.
Yeah, but what kind of flaws?
Well, from a traditional literary standpoint, they aren't wrong. The beginning is incredibly slow.
Okay.
And the narrative is just really episodic. Like, Theo looks at pencil portraits in a local coffee shop, buys them, and then tracks down the subjects to give the portraits back.
Oh, just to return them.
Yeah, to give them back and listen to their stories. And this just happens over and over.
So super repetitive.
Highly repetitive. Reviewers point out that the dialogue can feel a bit stilted, and the fictional town of Golden feels, I don't know, totally unrealistically trapped in time.
Okay, I hear the complaints about the pacing, but what if we're looking at this backwards?
What do you mean?
Like, what if the repetition isn't a flaw, but the entire point? Think about your own reading habits lately,
Right, we're all just doom scrolling.
Exactly. We're so used to rapid-fire content. So reading this book feels almost like sensory deprivation for a fractured attention span, like a comforting morning ritual or something.
Oh, that is a really fascinating way to frame it.
Right. Maybe the slow pacing is just forcing the reader to physically slow down to Theo's level.
To an 86-year-old's pace, it basically functions as a mindfulness exercise disguised as fiction.
So instead of getting frustrated that nothing is exploding, you just start settling into the rhythm of sitting on a bench and listening to people.
And, even the harshest critics actually end up conceding that point.
Really? They admit it works.
Yeah, like there was a prominent review in Slate. They impartially noted the book's Christian undercurrents and described its themes as old-fashioned and liberal-minded.
Okay.
But they concede that the novel's soulful intuition ultimately just overrides its literary flaws. They actually categorized it as a modern hagiography.
Wait, a hagiography, like a saint's biography.
Precisely. The purpose of a hagiography isn't to tell some suspenseful thriller. It's to present an idealized life of good works for the reader to emulate. Theo just acts as this model of pure presence.
Wow.
So for readers navigating, a really harsh, hyper-connected 2026 America, this book operates as a sanctuary. It's a comforting alternative to the cruel zeitgeist.
It just strips away the noise and focuses entirely on human connection. It really proves that a story doesn't need to be perfectly engineered to resonate deeply.
No, it just needs to make people feel seen, offer a bit of empathy.
It reminds us that sometimes the most profound escapes are just the quietest ones.
Absolutely.
Which leaves us with a final question for you to ponder today.
Oh.
In a modern world utterly dominated by glowing screens, constant outrage, and cynical headlines,
Yeah.
could the most radical, rebellious act simply be performing an anonymous act of kindness?